Boys Club.
Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club Podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me, and I'll sue.
Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find them. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Because sometimes panic's the only way you can really put in like a full 8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10 hours, yeah, exactly. Do you work well under pressure?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I need a bit of pressure.
Yeah.
But too much, I will shut down.
Oh my God.
Shut down hard.
Fucking feel you, man.
Yeah.
I just worked an event, so we had a big work event on Monday.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, I'm kind of the type that the Friday before the event, I was staying late at work. My boss was like, you need to leave. Just go home. And I was like, no, when I'm in the event mode, I want to get as much done as possible before the day of the event, because the day of the event, I'm going to be pulled in 1,000 directions. I'm not going to be able to get done what I need to get done. And I was like, okay. Monday comes and it was just utter chaos. Yeah. I didn't have a sip of water all day because I was doing setup, teardown. It was maybe 2 hours of computer time. Not even. Maybe an hour and a half where I was at my desk checking email. And then it was just, I was in setup mode. And I was just like, why the fuck do I do this? Every single time I have an event, I'm like, why did I choose this profession? It's so stressful.
Yeah.
It's so physically, it's physical. So not only am I problem solving, multitasking, doing all this stuff, but I'm lifting things and dragging things over here. And then meanwhile, people are emailing me questions. And I really should get in the habit of just making an out of office.
Yeah.
I'm setting up for an event right now. If you need to reach me, you can try my phone, but chances are it's not on me.
Yeah.
Because most of my clothes don't have pockets. So my phone is away from me.
Yeah.
I'm getting calls and then it was a 12-hour day. It was insane. This was Monday.
I spent the summer working for a lantern festival.
Oh, wow.
In Victoria.
Yeah.
And I sort of ran the studio for all the volunteers. And that was a sweet gig.
Was it? Oh, you liked it? Oh, okay.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things where we're all building to this thing for
months.
And then it's 5 days of just the most insanity.
Chaos. Utter.
Yeah.
There's no way that any event planner, no matter how good you are, has an event go 100% smooth.
No. Yeah. You have to. I will say the people I know who work in production for that stuff are the most competent, insanely, intimidatingly, just good at things people I've ever met.
Right. And it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's years of experience and years of doing it. And it's just for me, I'm used to working small events. This event that I had on Monday was for 400 to 450 people, which I think is it's on the larger scale. It's not a festival or anything.
Sure.
But I'm used to organizing little workshops and this was just on a different scale. And I was and everyone kept complimenting me. And then I couldn't help but think, are you complimenting me because you know I'm freaking out and you want me to feel better? Or are you complimenting me because you think I actually did a good job?
It's not worth asking that question.
I love that. I know. It really isn't.
Like, just take it. Take it and run, you know?
I'm starting to realize, like, as an adult, the benefit to doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like, there's no second guessing.
There's no point. It's just a waste of time.
Usually.
It doesn't serve you.
And most of the time it's because, you know, not you, but, you know, generally people aren't good at just accepting they might be okay at something, or that people have good feelings towards them.
Yeah.
So that's usually coming more from you than from...
And it's also a perfectionist mentality.
Right.
Because I think it's kind of like comedians. Like, I know so many comics that I don't say good set after they have a good set because I know that they're just thinking of how they could be better.
Oh, that's funny.
And they're just picking themselves apart.
Yeah.
So I usually don't even say anything.
Yeah.
Because it just turns into, well, this one joke didn't quite land how I wanted. Like Chris Halef does that a lot. Shout out Chris. Yeah, but he's so good. Like he's really, like, I think he's like so talented and doesn't give himself enough cred, but I don't think any of us do.
Yeah, that's funny. I recently told Chris, I think he and I are like yin and yang a little bit.
Interesting.
Because I think we have similar styles, but he tends towards a little meaner.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit nicer, but the way that we deliver those energies
is similar. Like you guys could be in a buddy cop movie together.
Oh, yeah, that would be a boring comedy. Oh,
what would it be titled is the main question.
White guys. Like, come on.
White guys. I forgot the fucking whiskey. Go nuts. This fucking whiskey has been at my place forever. So I'm not opposed to drinking it all tonight, to be honest.
Perfect. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So good. So where do we start?
We are going to start right fucking now, baby.
Okay.
We are on the Intoxicated Podcast. And I'm here with comedian Kyle Carpenter.
Hi.
You are not a carpenter.
I'm not. Although funny, my brother is.
Your brother is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And recently too. So like he was an adult and he went in and he got his ticket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was not where he was going. He's a musician.
Oh, okay.
But studied jazz drumming.
Fascinating.
Yeah, he's awesome. Not because he loves jazz.
You're not a jazz fan?
I mean, it's a whole world that I know, like,
yeah,
I'd have to put work into it
totally
to love it, and I know how I am.
Yeah.
And I know how much work I would put in. So I'm kind of like, it just seems like a precipice I'm not ready for.
Jazz fans, like, are, like, I've never met a jazz fan that wasn't a hardcore jazz fan.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Like, people who like jazz really, really fucking love jazz.
You gotta, like, the initial investment is huge.
Yeah.
You gotta train your ear. You have to know the history. Like, it's a lot.
It's a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Like when Jazz Fest comes around, I'm always just kind of like, here in Halifax, they do the Jazz Fest every year. And I'm always like, I should go check out more shows. But there's a lot of things I should do that I don't.
Sure. Yeah. But, well, Paul, my brother, studied jazz because I think when you really, like, want to be a musician, you study jazz or classical.
Right. One of
or
the
the
two.
other.
One of the two, yeah.
Because, like, that's where you'll get the chops.
And then that can apply to, like, all other genres, kind of.
Basically.
Flow over.
Yeah.
That's too cool. So Kyle Carpenter.
Yeah, hi.
Finally.
Hi. Thanks.
Oh my God. So I'm so glad we're here. So cheers, first of all.
Cheers.
Ooh, we are drinking. I'm going to just drink it without the ginger ale first. See how that hits. Oh, I actually don't mind it without the ginger ale. Yeah, but I am going to put a splash.
A little bit of peat there.
Just a small splash. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug this, but Johnny Walker Black is what we are drinking tonight.
I don't think they need the plug.
I don't think they need the plug, but we're plugging. We plug in them anyway.
Yeah.
Just in case. But this is interesting because when I asked you what you were into in terms of booze, you pretty much listed all alcohols.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is I don't want to be difficult.
Oh, okay.
But I do, like, I like everything.
You like everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say is like your, like, we're drinking whiskey tonight. And I also think that part of me was like, like you mentioned blowing off steam, and like, I'd like to blow off some steam. And when that's the case, I like things that hurt going down. Like a little stronger, a little more of a sipping punch.
That's funny. For me, that is like, that's almost a safety guard.
Yeah.
Because like, the booze that gets me drunk these days is rum.
Oh yeah,
If I'm gonna like drink, I'm like, I want to drink.
It's rum.
I'll rum and coke, and then I'll just pour stiff rum and cokes, and then like 3 drinks later, like I'm feeling it.
Oh, very nice. So rum is kind of like your poison. If you had,
yeah,
desert island drink.
Yeah, I'm moving this.
Which would be a great desert island drink.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of
rum,
coconuts,
a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean. References.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, Scotch was a great love of mine for some time. I used to say it was the longest relationship I'd ever had.
Used to, not anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It's been eclipsed by an actual relationship.
Well, maybe it was longer than your current.
No, I don't think so.
Really? Okay, interesting. Well, my dad drinks a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I've always considered it to be a very grown up, like, no bullshit drink.
Yeah.
And that's why my relationship with it is like, I still don't like love the absolutely love the taste of it, but I'm getting there.
Right.
And I'm figuring out, like, I do really like this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the Bullet Bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And, I'm just figuring out, like, okay, if I mix it with some ice and just kind of water it down a smidge, I can do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not to the point where I could just drink it straight without ice or water or a splash of something.
I was for a bit, but you know what? I think it's better with a bit of ice.
It is.
Yeah.
I like cold alcohol. Like, I don't like warm alcohol. I'm kind of an ice snob.
And it's almost easier to taste it. Mm-hmm. It blooms. I think that's a word people use.
Blooms. Oh, then we getting fancy up in this bitch.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that you're here because we've been trying to record for a bit. And it's interesting because you reached out to me at a time when I was like kind of dealing with some like people who weren't asking to come on in nice ways. And I made a status. And you were so sweet because you were like, hey, I just saw your status. I just want to let you know that I'd love to come on sometime. And I was like, Kyle, of course. I was like, I probably would have asked you anyway.
Well, yeah, I think you were complaining about people who'd, performed maybe 3 times, kind of cockily saying, yeah, I might do your show sometime.
Yeah. More of like, when's my interview? Like, bitch, even the pro comics in this city aren't that entitled.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, I can do this better.
You can do this better. And you did. And what's crazy about it is it's so strange because I see a lot of like kind of, I'll say newer, like you've been in here for about a year.
Yeah.
So you're pretty not new anymore, but we didn't have a lot of interactions before the night at Beerley's where we did karaoke together.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like when we hung out that night.
Was that the night Brittany left?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that night I was like, I really like Kyle. Because like you didn't see people on stage and go, they're really funny. And like, I think I'd get along with them. But it's not until you have these like kind of micro interactions with people where I'm like, oh, I could really have a conversation or like I could really like get into it with this person in a good way, get into it. So I really had a lot of fun that night. And you sang, what karaoke song did you sing? I really approved of it though. It was like such a good karaoke song.
It might have been Bohemian Like You.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where's my bell? I need the validation bell. That's a ding. It's a ding. It's a ding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that when you did that, I was like, we gonna get along. And I think we were like kind of shooting the shit about 90s music a bit and stuff. And I was like, fuck yeah.
That is the most. The Onion just published an article saying a dude in his 30s wants to hang out and just talk about stuff from the 90s.
Yes.
And I was like, no.
Yes.
No. Because I think when I read that, I just visited a friend in Ottawa, And we drink a few beers, and then like at 3 a.m. we're watching like, hey, you remember Salmon Blaster? Nobody remembers Salmon Blaster.
Or like you get into like old commercials from the 90s.
Yeah, or like just like stuff that Much Music pushed back then. Like I think we watched 3 Zucker Baby songs, like videos.
I didn't know that.
They were from Calgary in like 96.
Oh my God. Wow.
They had a very high falsetto.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Much Music, like those were, I was obsessed with Much Music growing up.
Yeah.
Like I used to want to be a VJ, Much Music VJ.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like
you'd be a great VJ.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I don't. We talked about this before, but like I'm so bad at taking compliments that I instantly go to like, no, I suck at it. Ugh, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Learning how to take a compliment. Fuck.
Well, we can move over it.
We can move over it.
But yeah, I loved Much Music.
Yeah, it was so great.
Back. Because they played music, which I think even MTV had stopped doing.
Yeah.
And I like to say I was a nerd growing up. Still am a nerd. But at some point I figured out if I turn my nerd powers of just being like obsessed and learning a lot really fast to music, then I'll be cool.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, that's a skill that can transfer over to many things.
Yeah, it's just be enthusiastic about things.
Yeah.
Easy.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Wanting to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I love that. Much Music was, and I liked Much Music because they would play music videos, but then they'd also do a lot of like, obviously interviews or like those like shows where it would be like a band would come on and like play some songs and then do interviews and then play some songs. And I used to tape those things.
Yeah.
I used to watch it live and tape it and then rewatch the taping.
Yeah.
That was me.
I love it.
VHS tapes.
I remember staying home sick and watching it all day, and then like watching when they repeated the 8-hour programming block.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good. I feel like those days are gone.
Definitely. They're definitely out.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
It's fucked. Like, I mean, granted, I don't watch. I got a Tinder message.
I miss Tinder completely.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah.
You've never been on it?
Never. I've been with my partner, my girlfriend, for 11 years now.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. Yeah.
So you're how old? 30?
38. Just turned.
38. So you've been with her since 20 math 27?
7. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Holy crap.
That's I'm sorry. Did I just existential crisis you?
A little bit.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I like it.
Yeah. And actually, that's a good time to get into a relationship, like your late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Like, it just worked.
Yeah.
That's not true. It took a lot of work. She didn't like me that much initially.
I love when I hear stories about this.
Yeah.
Because it gives me hope that the guys that don't like me will eventually like me. I don't know if that's a good strategy. Probably not.
Like, it worked out for me, but I really don't want to give like survivor bias, you know?
No, yeah, like it worked for me, so it'll work for you.
Yeah, I can't give that. It was, she won't like that I'm telling this
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
I've told it before, but
Yeah.
But yeah, like it took a year of me being like, oh my God, I hope oh God, what is even happening right now?
A lot of anxious energy.
Yeah, definitely. Friends were worried about me. I think nobody said so, but I could see it in their eyes.
So do you mean like when you got together, you were nervous and overthinking and...
Yeah. Well, she's kind of, we shouldn't get into this.
No? Okay.
She's not over emotive.
Uh-huh.
And I need validation all the time.
Well, that's actually a great segue into this subject about, because we also talked about this after the comedy show recently, about wanting validation and like wanting to be liked.
Yeah.
Which is something that's hard to navigate sometimes and hard to get over.
Yes.
And I don't know, and maybe it's something that we don't get over, but we just learn to manage it better, because I'm the same way. I'm very much so a people pleaser.
Yep.
I want to make people happy, and I'll like kind of go to, like, I realized today that like even when I'm out walking in the world, I will go out of my way to make things easier for other people. Like I will not cross the street if I feel it's an inconvenience for the car.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, sure,
That's like kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be a bother. I don't like, and I don't want this driver to think I'm jutting out. Like,
I'm acting like I'm surprised. I've totally done that.
yeah?
For sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm not the only one.
But yeah, I'll definitely like watch the traffic and kind of wait till there's like a real break. And then go. Yeah, for sure.
I do that all the time. But also too, I think it is also a trust thing, because I've made a lot of new friends like through hanging out with comics and stuff. And there's like certain people who I know I can't fuck up with at this point.
Oh.
Like I'm like, oh, okay, they like me and it'll be fine. They're like a true friend.
Yeah.
Then there's other people that I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I might piss them off still.
Could go either way.
And
Sure.
it's just it's a tricky thing to navigate in adult life, where we're all walking around probably with undiagnosed mental illnesses.
Yeah. Yeah. In many cases, diagnosed.
Or diagnosed.
Sure, yeah.
Lucky bastards. I'm not diagnosed with anything, but I think I have quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Anxiety and depression. Good old cocktail of anxiety and depression for me.
On that note.
Ooh, get more whiskey.
I am going to have a bit more. This is exciting.
This is actually really good, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I like a sipping drink.
Yeah, me too.
It's a good change, because vodka sodas is what I normally drink, and I'm just like funneling those back.
Right.
And it's more patience.
One thing I'll say,
with a Scotch.
I am a sit-down drinker and conversationalist. When I'm standing, I'm awkward. I don't like it.
Like, so in bar or party situations. Don't die on me.
Pardon. Yeah, well, when it's like, okay, Hell of Hells, a networking event.
Oh, thank you for saying Hell of Hells, because you're so right.
Yeah. But that's a stand-up energy, and you kind of have these weird loose conglomerations, like circles of people.
Yeah.
And like everybody's like they're designed to keep people out.
Yeah, they really, really are.
Everyone's uncomfortable.
Do you think?
A little bit. You're standing.
But here's the thing. I know so many people who like actively seek out networking events and go and are excited to go. And I'm like,
maybe.
I don't know who you are or what you smoking, but like that ain't me. Like, I'll go if I have to for work. Like if my work is like, you got to go to this event and talk about this thing, I'll try my best, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but like I like this. I like sitting down, sharing some drinks, just chatting.
So you would be like more of a pub guy versus a club guy.
Oh, look at me. Obviously.
But you never know, because I mean, we did karaoke. You had fun at karaoke.
Yeah, I'll karaoke.
Do you dance?
I have.
I've danced once or twice in my life.
No, I haven't enjoyed it. It's just been a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like dance parties, they're so fun. Actually, the party that you missed, Ian Black's party.
Oh, yeah.
There was some dancing.
Ah, shit. Actually, you know what was the best? One time I went to a party a friend held. It was a grade 7 slow dance party.
Shut the fuck up.
So everybody brought mix CDs with their like grade 7 jams and we played it on a boombox and everybody did this thing.
Oh my God.
But it was so nice because you dance with everybody because like
it was the theme.
That's the theme. It's not a sexual
dance.
Like
it's kind of funny.
It's funny. Like we're having fun. And you just like kind of chatted and kind of got the thrill of dancing with somebody.
Love that so
much. It was the best.
That's amazing.
I don't know. I've only been to one. It should be common.
Well, we should throw some sort of we should have a grade 7 dance party night somewhere.
I think that would sell tickets.
I mean, there's retro nights all over Halifax, but TBH, like they're full of college kids that like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you fully don't know this music.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I taught college kids for a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have an unfinished PhD in English.
Oh, really?
And I taught first years. And every year I would ask them, okay, just so I don't lose touch, what do you listen to? What's a band you like?
Right.
Or music that you like, so that I know, because I am going to lose touch so fast. And I hit the point where a student of mine said, I listen to a lot of bands like Third Eye Blind and Jimmy Eat World. I wish I'd been a teenager in the early 2000s when music really meant something.
Oh, God. I'm glad they're listening to it, though. Pardon me?
For me, that was a reckoning, because, like, I didn't think much of that music when it was happening.
Oh, yeah?
But I also knew, like, I was the guy being, like, late 90s, early 2000s, like, listening to the Pixies and Pavement and being
right.
like, this is the cool stuff.
Yeah.
This is what really matters. And then you realize, like, everybody does that. Everybody
does
just
that.
goes back to, like, you know, not their parents' music, but, like, in between.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was heavily influenced by my sisters.
Yeah.
Who are more in your age bracket.
Yeah.
Like late 30s, like early 40s. And so what they were listening to really trickled down to me.
Yeah.
So one of my early influences was Bon Jovi. I know. I know. I know.
No, it's great. It's
so
great.
fucking cheesy.
It is cheesy, but
It's
like
so cheesy.
As a genre, it's cheesy.
Yes.
You know, like it's supposed to be cheesy.
It was the Always music video with Carrie Russell when and the hot brunette who I forget her name, but she's so hot and she's like actually an actress still to this day.
Right.
Like, what's her name? Like Carly something. She was in the house on Haunted Hill or whatever that show was.
Oh yeah.
The Haunting of Hill House. There it is.
Yeah.
She was in that, and she was in the Bon Jovi music video. And when I saw the hot brunette, I was like, that's my definition of what femininity is and what I want to be.
Right.
As a young girl, I saw that in the music video. Granted, she got cheated on and stuff, so it wasn't the best storyline. But
right. Still, that's passionate. You know, that's tells a story.
it was very dramatic.
Yeah.
And a lot of wind machines at Bon Jovi with his hair blowing in the wind.
The most surprising wind machine I've ever seen at a concert was at Sparklehorse.
Sparklehorse.
I don't know if you know this guy. He is
Who's Sparklehorse?
It's the saddest music. It's so sad.
I'm in.
It's great. Yeah.
You said sad. You sold me on sad.
Oh, he's so good. But yeah, I saw him live at Richards on Richards in Vancouver. That's a beloved venue that shut down years ago.
That's a great name.
It was great.
Was it on a street called Richards?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And weirdly, like it's the most like bedroom, like, I wish I had. But he had a wind machine blowing on his hair. And I really couldn't tell if it was like, are you being epic?
Or are you warm?
It
could be both.
Yeah.
I love a wind machine.
It was out of place, but I'm really glad I got to see him.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Are you a big concert guy? Do you go to a lot of concerts?
Not a lot,
No,
but not none.
Yeah.
Like
Same.
a number.
I feel like as you get older, it becomes less.
Yeah.
I saw like it might have been Reductress or one of those sites.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a picture of a concert venue, and it was like all attendees in their 30s
I
and
just
all
shared
staff.
this article.
Well, maybe I saw it through you.
I think so. It was the Hard Times.
Yeah, pretend that they're having fun or something like that.
Oh, no. This one I saw was band attendees and venue staff all agree they're too old for this shit.
That's what it was. I was like, I identify with that hardcore.
What was your best top concert?
That's hard to say.
Top 3.
I mean, like, and I've talked about this before, but like, I'm a rock chick, but I have heavy pop influences. Heavy pop. But like, my core is rock.
I think I knew that about you.
Yeah.
Just like all of those things.
But that's the thing. I feel like people look at someone who's a fan of pop music, and it's instantly like a social justice warrior for pop music, but it's instantly stigmatized or looked down upon.
I think I see what you're saying.
But
I think it's changing.
I think it's changing for sure. Because there's so many like overlaps now. Like pop isn't just one thing anymore.
I think like if you need to reckon with the greatness of Robin.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then the rest comes.
Absolutely.
Right?
That should go on a landscape
Yeah.
picture. That quote
Like,
needs to go on a landscape picture.
Yeah, watch the video for Call Your Girlfriend and just like deal with how amazing that song and those dances are. And then just enjoy pop.
Right?
It's too short.
That's exactly what it is. So when I think of my top 3, it's funny you mentioned Third Eye Blind. They're one of my faves.
Great.
But I'm not just someone who listens to Semi-Charmed Life and says that they're
I get it.
like I go deep into their albums and shit.
Yep.
But I saw them at Casino Nova Scotia here in town, like back in 2012, maybe 2013. Nice. And actually Andrew Vaughn, I think, was at that same show.
Nice.
And a bunch of friends in my life were also at that same show, and we hadn't met at that point. But it was like a smaller concert. I was like front row, and it was just amazing. There was nothing like it. I don't know, like that really sticks out to me. And then I also saw, I was front row for Katy Perry too. I got upgraded to it.
Sure.
And then I would say the third would probably be like the Taylor Swift 1989.
Nice.
World Tour,
Great.
where I was in the nosebleed section though. Yeah. So all of those shows were like good in different ways.
Yeah.
You know? What about you? What was your top 3?
James Brown.
I saw James Brown?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
On one of his last tours. I don't know if it was his last one.
Oh, wow.
But it was awesome. Hardest working man in show business. I'm a witness. Incredible.
You saw it, yeah. You saw it firsthand.
Do Make Say Think, who were part of the like post-rock like Montreal bands from the late 90s.
Oh, cool. Okay.
They were like related to Godspeed You Black Emperor. And third, the third is like where it kind of gets crowded.
Yeah.
So
I know it's tough.
Oh, yeah. No. I've got an answer. Wolf Parade.
Oh, yes.
Is
okay.
one of my favorite bands. They recently got back together. Mm-hmm. It was a big publicized thing. They were going to have a reunion show in Brooklyn. And it was going to be a big deal. Except they're from Vancouver Island. And my brother said, hey, Wolf Parade's having a secret show in Nanaimo, and my band's opening for them. You should come.
So they had the end.
Yeah, it was like the night before they flew to Brooklyn.
Oh, fuck.
And it was the first time and only time that will ever happen that I was at an event that Pitchfork reported on the day after because they didn't know in advance.
Wow.
It was awesome.
God damn. Yeah, there's something about a secret show. There's something
so cool.
about the idea of like the spontaneity, and like the White Stripes did that here in Halifax like years and years ago.
I've heard tales.
And it was so crazy because I started a new job and I was like a fresh new employee, and I was just like beyond anxious, but I went up to my boss and I was like, can I leave work early to go try to track down this secret show, because I was following like updates being like, it might be here, it might be there, it might be on Citadel Hill, it might be on the Dartmouth Ferry. And then eventually it was like, it's at Locust, this like little club downtown. And we ran to get there.
Yeah.
And as we got there, people were leaving and they were going, what a show. Oh my God. And I'll never forget that feeling of like, we were so close. We could have maybe heard the last song if we had been a little quicker.
I'm so sorry.
I know. It was like White Stripes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, that's the thing. Like there's certain bands that I'm like, I might not know everything, but I would go see live in a second because I appreciate them so much. And that's White Stripes for me. Like I would fucking love to see them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I actually just had a memory pop up the other day of a video that I took from the Stone Temple Pilots concert.
Oh yeah,
that R.I.P. Scott Whelan. But I got to see them. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was a clip of Sour Girl, which is such a good song.
Yeah, great. That early '90s moment, I think it's a little crapped on now.
It is
because I think because it kind of led to that whole Nickelback throat rock thing. So people hear those like voices and they're like, ugh.
And there were so many bands that came out around when Nickelback that like people would say like Nickelback light. Like I think Theory of a Dead Man,
Puddle
Default,
of Mud.
Puddle of Mud,
Sure,
which they have some good fucking songs.
I'll take your word on that one.
She fucking hates me. It's so good.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
Oh really?
I'm sorry.
You don't like She Fucking Hates Me?
I don't. No.
Oh no, Kyle.
It's okay. I don't want to start a fight.
We will agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I had this conversation with Mark Anthony Synagoga, who came on. We got into it about music. And we got on the subject of the Tragically Hip and how he thinks Rush is the better Canadian band.
Ooh.
Throwback.
I can see why someone would make that argument. I disagree.
Yeah.
But I can see where that would come from.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
See, and I think true fans of music look at things like that. They don't go, "You're wrong."
Yeah.
They just go like, "That's not what I think," but cool.
One thing I try to do is if I listen to music, I try to think, if I were someone who liked this, what would I like about it?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
And like, yeah. And it's led me to like kind of like some more things than I normally would, because I got over it, but I was a serious young man.
Yeah.
You know, that genre of person, the serious young man. This pop music is garbage. It doesn't deal with real feelings. Like that.
Okay. So question for you.
Yeah.
Did you ever see High Fidelity?
So many times.
Okay, so I figured.
Yeah, like that was one of like my roommates and I would watch that anytime we were hungover.
Yes,
because someone had the VHS. So yeah, like constantly.
So you were a Rob Gordon.
We all were. It was awful. We were insufferable.
I love it so much.
We were insufferable. I mean, I think it's a growing phase, and when you're and I think young men are just super susceptible to it.
Yeah.
Like it's a way of figuring out who you are.
Absolutely.
But it is a thing to let go of as soon as possible. Oh, God.
Yeah. To take things so seriously that you get upset at people who have different opinions than you, rather than like having just a conversation, like, because especially on the topic of music, people are passionate about it. So it's like, why not, like, let's just talk logically about how we're both passionate about these two bands, rather than like, no, you're wrong. I had a group of male friends that got into a legit fight over what the best Tea Party album was. But it went. It
the
wasn't
answer
just
being The Doors.
Oh. Well, see, I don't know. I just kind of stood the fuck out of that. It was like Homer backing into the bushes. I was like,
Yeah.
Like this conversation isn't for me, because one, I'm not really a Tea Party fan, but I appreciate them, but I just don't know their music as well. But it was just funny to me seeing that and seeing certain male friends get like just so worked up and so upset.
It's a weird, because they're all fans of the Tea Party.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
And that's not that common anymore, you know? Like,
it's true.
You've actually just found a point of commonality.
Yeah.
Like, bond over that.
Bond over the fact that you all love the same band.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I know.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God, we're obnoxious. It sucks. But yeah.
Did you ever have a band growing up that you were like obsessed with, like to an extreme degree?
That's a good question. Oh, I don't know. I have so many bands that I love.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I've had one that was like, this is
obsessed,
who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of this band.
You're kind of more open.
I was hungry for music. Like I wanted to
that.
find things that were like, this is something that I was looking for new things and trying to throw my understanding at them to like figure out like, okay, so this is what they're doing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say Stars Set Yourself on Fire carried me through 3 breakups.
Stars Set Your, and this is an album, Set Yourself on Fire by the band Stars.
That's right. It's a very breakup album.
And it got you through 3.
3.
Wow.
Yep.
It is crazy because I actually had a band on the podcast recently. They're like kind of an emo punk band and here in Halifax.
Nice.
And I asked them because I listened to their EP, which is actually quite good. I was like, "Do you guys consider this a breakup album?" And they were like, "We try not to call it that." And I was like, "But it's so true because there's some albums that are literally heartbreak albums.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Own it."
Yeah.
I fucking love breakup albums.
I write during the day, and when I'm trying to focus in, I listen to either something with no lyrics or the saddest lyrics I can find.
Really?
I don't know what it is. It focuses me.
Really?
I don't know why.
But and this is what I always find fascinating because everyone approaches music in a different way. Like I'm very much so like, if I'm sad, I want to listen to sad. If I'm happy, I want to listen to happy. But it's interesting to me when like you're happy, but you listen to sad music.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm working or writing, happy's not quite it.
Yeah. True, fair enough.
I'm not upset.
No, it's just you're working.
I'm working. I'm working on something.
So that's interesting that the sad music makes you productive.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It puts me in the thing of like, okay, what next?
Really?
A little bit, yeah.
See, because I find I can't listen to anything when I'm trying to get stuff done. Even podcasts, which are normally always in my ear.
Ooh.
Like, I usually have a podcast in my ear at all times.
Yeah.
But when I'm actually at my, like, day job, like, working, I can't.
No way I could do podcasts.
No, it's too much.
No way.
Yeah. Now that said, I think it's just different kinds of productivity. If it's work, can't do. If it's cleaning,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah.
Throw on an audiobook or podcast or like a whole album that you really, really like.
Yeah, for sure.
That is like I would say cleaning and commuting.
Yep. Yeah, I was
the two
listening
C's.
to a podcast on the way over here.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Of course. It's the whole point.
That's why we're here.
Hey, everybody, subscribe to this podcast.
Subscribe to
right now.
Intoxicated motherfuckers, because I'm ramping this thing up, and you're gonna want to subscribe.
I'm ramping up.
Do you want some more ice?
That'd be great.
I can grab you some. But lots of music talk. I fucking love talking about music. I actually want to start a music podcast.
Music's the best.
Yeah, there's a podcast I want to do called Chorus to the Verse, which is my guest picks an album.
Sure.
And we talk all about that album for the whole episode, track by track.
Yep.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be good.
I mean, yeah, let's just start another podcast there. When you're overwhelmed with one of them, why not start another and just work yourself to the bone?
What's album number 1 for Chorus to the Verse?
Oh, because it's Chorus to the Verse, which is a Third Eye Blind reference. The first episode would be the first Third Eye Blind album, which is iconic. So
yeah,
it would 100% be that one. And then what I would do is I would get the guests to choose, and I would prep in that I would listen to it before the episode.
Yeah,
if I hadn't already. So like if it was a brand new album, I would listen to all of it.
I'm gonna admit I shouldn't. I'd never listened to the full first Third Eye Blind album.
So good.
Because I was a serious young man, and girls liked that album. So
serious young man.
It accounts for so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But,
I'm just trying to picture you back then. Like visually.
I will tell you, I have good friends who cannot remember me without my beard. That's true. Like, I have a friend I played soccer with when we were 10, and he tells me, when I remember playing with you, you had a beard.
And did you?
No.
So like the beard, when did you start growing your beard?
I recently celebrated my beard's quinceañera.
Which is what?
15 years old.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're 38. So okay, interesting. Okay. So you've had it for a while.
24? Yeah. Yeah, it's an honest to God bush beard.
Nice.
I was working in the field.
Yeah.
And I was just away for a month and a half. No Nobody around.
Yeah.
I was like, let's do this, motherfucker.
I often think that I wonder, like, if I was a guy, if I would do it.
You know what?
I have that thought a lot.
Imagine if your face could naturally produce contour makeup.
Yeah, I know.
Just on its own.
God damn. You're right. I think I would keep it tight, though.
You gotta.
Yeah.
It's pretty tight.
But, I mean, there are some guys that I look at that I'm like, you got a long beard. I think if you do long, you have to upkeep that shit.
Yeah. I mean, you've gotta know there's an aesthetic that you're working towards. And make some decisions about it, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, maintenance for sure.
Maintenance for sure. Because it's so strange. I have a lot of female friends in my life, and beards are so polarizing. And when I say that, I mean it's either a 100% requirement,
right,
or it's a ew, he has a beard.
Yeah.
And I'm fall in the middle where I'm like, I could take it or leave it, but I actually really like beards.
It depends. I think, like, I'm not in the market.
Yeah.
For, you know,
right,
a bearded man, but I don't know. But I know I definitely see dudes sometimes who I'm like, I see the beard and I'm like, respect. And then other times I'm like, back to the lab, dude.
Like, are you being thoughtful about this?
Do something.
Are you being thoughtful about, like, that should be like the question. Like, is there effort that goes into this beard?
Yeah.
Just like the way that a girl puts effort into her hair.
Right.
It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I fucking suck at hair. And normally it's up, normally on working days it's up in a ponytail. And I just
I hit a point in my life when I realized I needed to work on shit. Like hair product.
Yeah.
You know, beard stuff.
Maintenance, beard oil. Do you use a beard oil?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Of course.
Ooh, very nice.
Facial moisturizer.
Ooh, buzzwords. Yes. I love these words.
But I think I hit a point where I realized I was humble enough to be vain. Where I was like, I can't pretend this is just working on its own. And I should take some steps to deal with it.
So would you say then, because I feel the same way about myself.
Sure.
Like, I'm just like, I don't see myself as someone, I don't love myself sans makeup. Right. I will do it, but I'm not going to love it. And I end up looking like I'm 17, 16. Like, I just look so much younger. So, like, that's why I put effort into, like, that area.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where I'm like, I recognize, like, I just do. Like, and if that's high maintenance, then that's high maintenance. Would you consider yourself high maintenance or medium maintenance or low? In terms of your get ready routine.
Any maintenance at all.
But you do something.
I do something.
So a lot of guys, I feel like there's this thing on men where a lot of women think that they just roll out of bed. That's not always the case. Sometimes guys do more than that. Sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like it's a lot.
No, not compared to women.
Not compared to women.
If women choose to put that effort in, which if you do,
yeah, it's great. But you know, and then you watch any given episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, and you're like,
that's what real effort is.
That's artistry.
That's artistry and a transformation.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I have so much appreciation for it. Yeah. And I just have appreciation for effort. Whether that be effort in yourself or effort in what you do, what, like, your work, your craft. Like, when I see effort, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I agree.
Because not everyone just rolls out of bed looking great.
No. Well,
some do.
Some do.
Some fucking model types.
And fuck them.
Fuck them. Seriously. But also, what kind of life is that?
I don't know.
Where no one challenges you because you're so good looking.
One of the darkest pleasures I have in life is when I see a gorgeous couple with an ugly child.
It's great.
It's like, because you also know, not adopted, because gorgeous people wouldn't choose an ugly baby. They just wouldn't.
It's true. They would be smart enough not to.
Yeah. Or like, they wouldn't even know, like, they couldn't see an ugly baby. They'd be like, why are you showing us this empty crib? So it had to be theirs.
It had to be theirs.
And, there's just something in their genetics that was like, that doesn't pass on, honey.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the kid. But I feel great about
I feel
those
okay
parents.
for the kid because they'll find their way.
That's true. Yeah. We all do.
We all do. And that's the thing. Like, yeah. Like, I feel like it's so easy to get jealous of good looking people, but they have their own set of challenges, I imagine. Fuck them! Way less than us.
Yeah.
That's actually very true. Like, I say that, but at the same time, I'm like, fuck off.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, I have so many potential boyfriends to choose from. How am I going to live? Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, but a bit of humility is a good thing to have, long term.
Well, I actually talk a lot about like body confidence and like confidence in yourself on the show a lot, but I rarely get the male perspective on it. Because I think that it's one of those things that, like, at least in the media, it's very targeted on women. Like, women need to feel better, and it's like, well, men need to feel better too.
Yep. I think
like
I was a fat kid growing up.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you just go back and picture your childhood?
A little bit.
Yeah.
To the point, actually, I saw the Mr. Rogers documentary, not the new movie, but the Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Oh, okay.
And I went with a good friend of mine, Justin O'Hearn, another comic, who he's back in Vancouver, but he visits, so you should have him on.
Sweet.
But
keep him on the radar.
Yeah. We went together in an afternoon matinee, and we said, we're going on a boys' date, and we're going to have a nice little boys' cry. So we had a pact that, as soon as you feel it coming, just let it go.
Stop. That's
just
awesome.
let it go. And it was the best. But it was shocking what made me cry in that movie, because it was all like so many things going on.
Right.
They showed a photo of Fred Rogers as a kid with chubby cheeks, and they called him Fat Fred.
Aww.
And I started bawling.
Because it resonated with you.
There was something in me that recognized Fat Fred in me. And I was like, I didn't even know. I thought I dealt with it. But it was like. And so I was like, okay, I still have work to do. That's good.
You know what scares me even more?
What's that?
Well, actually, that didn't scare me. But you know what scares me in general with men is men who like never cry.
Oh, yeah.
Or never. Like, I mean, you can do it however you want. If you want to do it in private. I'm a public crier. I'm really bad for it.
Yeah.
I said recently that my love language is crying about you in public because it is. Scott McLean made me cry at Ian Black's party on the weekend. And I cried right in front of everybody.
I feel a little like that might be his thing.
But it was weird because we're going to talk, because Scott's going to come back on soon, because he's done an episode like a long time ago, but I'm going to fucking comment on it when he comes on. But he was Tony Robbins and me. Like, he was getting very, like, Sarah, like, the reason you're single is like you think you're a piece of shit, but you're not. You're so great. You don't give your he wasn't being mean.
Yeah.
He was just being honest and in an overly positive way.
Yeah.
And it made me cry. And I was just like in the corner crying. And I'm like,
That's
oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Everyone's looking at me. Shit. And then his girlfriend like locked eyes with me and she's like, look at me. Let's talk. She's like, when I cry in public, I don't want to draw attention to it. So we're just gonna talk here.
Okay.
She was so great.
That's
Shout out
so
Lauren.
nice.
Yeah, she's such a good. We just met that night, but like such a sweetheart. So,
but I will say one thing I realized for me in terms of body image.
Oh yeah.
Is when I started thinking about how in the gay community there's the word bears.
Yes.
I was like, oh. That's me.
Did it make you feel better?
Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing about labels or it really can make you feel like you belong more.
It really did, like that this is a look that like some people just have. It's a body type and it's a whole style.
Yeah.
And like it works for some people. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, that makes sense.
Did you feel validated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It made me wish I was gay.
You get so much attention.
I think I would do okay.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Everyone is someone's foot. I was telling Albert Coombs this.
Right.
That same night at the tea room.
Wait, do you mean like foot fetish? Is that what you're saying?
So I heard this on a podcast. Comedian Jared Freed, who does a podcast, said, if you're ever feeling like no one's attracted to you, just remember that you are somebody's foot. Meaning, people have foot fetishes, and they really like feet. Yeah. And those people might not be like the majority, but they're there. Yep. And so everybody is like, someone will be attracted to you, no matter what, no matter who you are. Yeah. Someone somewhere will. Yeah. Whether or not you find that, I don't know.
I think that's true. I've definitely seen people who like don't want to be a fetish for someone.
That's interesting.
Like in the sense that I saw a tweet once from someone who said they can't stand chubby chasers because they were overweight and they didn't want to feel like their overweightness was a turn on specifically. But I was a little conflicted about that.
Well, because when is it like a fetish and when is it just something you're attracted to?
That's
kind of the main question.
A lot of that's just whether or not society
tells you
it's okay,
right?
Like,
because like I know
are boobs a fetish?
Are boobs a fetish? Because like I've had male friends that have admitted to me like this has happened literally. I'm not attracted to you because you are not as petite as I want.
That sucks.
That does suck, but I also get it.
Yeah.
So like if you're a woman with a little more meat, a little more curves. There are some guys that just aren't into that, and they like a skinny bitch.
That's there's something.
And
to that.
it's not fun hearing that, but also like this is just being a woman.
Like, telling someone. Yeah, I think is maybe the line for me. Like,
yeah. Just
so you know, it's like the people saying, I don't have a lot of availability for your podcast coming up, so I'll try to work in. This fucking sucks.
I don't think anyone's ever said that to me.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, scheduling can be tricky, but we talked about this before about getting organized and me making a Calendly thingy to make book appointments.
Calendly works.
Yeah. Really, it's just me bugging people a lot. But I think the arrogance comes from just people assuming that they can come on. Yeah. More so than I'm too busy. Like I had, do you know Nathan McIntosh?
Oh, I know of him. I don't know him personally.
Great comic.
Yeah, sure.
He almost came on the show. But he's like the biggest sweetheart too, because he was like, I'm only home for a couple days, but like I'm gonna really try to make this work. I'm really gonna try to make this work. And he was so sweet. And this guy is like big time. Like he's been on Conan. Like real deal. And he was like such a genuine person. Like when he canceled, he legit felt bad for canceling on me. And I was like, don't you worry, boy. You have a spot anytime. You want to get another drink or pee?
No, you should try to get Chris Locke this December.
I saw the name, and I'll have to like check out some of his stuff.
He's the best.
Chris Locke, okay.
He's the best.
Comedian, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of Toronto, I think.
Okay.
But he's, for my money, he's the funniest person in the country.
What? Okay, shit.
So good.
Oh, I will definitely. And see, thank you for putting that on my radar, because I'm really bad at like, someone will come to town. And I'll message them and they're like, I'm only here till tomorrow night. And I'm like, fuck. If I had gotten on it sooner. I also just like to kind of look at their comedy as well. Before I get people on. But
the funny thing with Chris Locke, I think, see what you think.
Interesting.
But for me, like he was on Sirius XM Talk Comic this year. But like those competitions do him such a disservice. Because like it's always 7-minute clips that are social media oriented. And he will in an hour change the world you exist in to produce an hour of entertainment for you. Like, it's a whole
Holy
different,
shit.
it's a whole different like worldview that you live in when you're watching him do comedy.
Wow.
And that doesn't come through in a 5-minute clip.
Of course not. You need to go see a whole show.
Go see a whole show.
Well, I know that he's coming. I think Kyle Burnett is opening.
He is, yeah.
For him?
Yeah, I'm so
That's
excited
bitchin'.
for him.
Where's he? Bus Stop Theater?
Bus Stop Theater.
Interesting. That's where I saw Nathan McIntosh when he came. So that's really becoming like a spot for traveling comics to do like little one-off shows here, which
I think, yeah,
great.
Probably a little more control.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna buy tickets for the early and the late show.
You're going to both.
I'm gonna go.
Will
to
it be
both.
the same set? Maybe.
We'll see.
You don't care.
I don't
You just
care.
love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now that we're talking comedy, let's fucking talk comedy.
Let's talk comedy.
Let's
I love
talk comedy. So you've lived in Halifax for about a year?
Got here December 27th.
December 27th. So almost a full year.
That's right.
Holy shit. I was just thinking of the date. That's a crazy time to move.
It was insane.
That is sucky. Because winter
yeah,
and Christmas.
it wasn't the best time to uproot and to also like Halifax is gorgeous. Halifax at the end of December is not the place where you're like, oh, I'm so glad I came here.
It's true. Our winters are brutal.
It was because it was a big move, and there were definitely a few weeks where I was like, oh, what did we do?
Did you move here? Like, did someone get a job here or?
My partner started her PhD.
Got you. So there was a finite reason.
That's right. Yeah, and I work remotely, so
You can work from wherever,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Which is great.
yeah. And for the record, it's great. I love it here.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, because I want to ask you, so you're from BC.
Yep.
Where in BC again?
I grew up in the Okanagan Valley
Okay.
and lived in Vancouver for the last almost a decade.
Oh, crazy. So, like, when I found that out about you, I wanted to bring this up because I feel like BC is so far away that, like, I don't know if I'll ever go. I hope to go at some point.
Well, it's great.
But I just live vicariously through when people travel there and I see pictures. And I just picture Vancouver as a lot of high-rise buildings and water.
That's not wrong.
And marinas.
Yep. Add in yoga pants.
Yoga pants.
And that's
Active
about it.
Lots of active people.
Lots of active people. Yeah.
Like,
for
is
sure.
that like kind of one of the main demographics?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like business casual there is like a North Face jacket. You know, like it's a little obnoxious if we're being honest.
That's hilarious.
But it's beautiful and there is like cool stuff there.
Yeah.
I like to say this. The basic idea is East Coast friendly, West Coast not friendly. And that's basically true. But
really? And this is coming from someone who's lived there like a
that's
long time, yeah.
Basically true.
Yeah.
But one thing I'll say, you can live on the East Coast for 20 years and still be a come from away. I think. I lived in Newfoundland for a spell there. It's maybe more pronounced.
Yeah, Newfoundland for sure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more, we're kind of more like, well, you weren't born here, so meh.
Yeah. Vancouver, you live there for 2 weeks, you're a Vancouverite.
Really?
Definitely.
So
The only thing is, no one cares.
yeah.
So
Fair.
yeah. But I have a full theory about how housing prices tie into this, because that's
Interesting.
another thing. Nobody can afford a house in Vancouver, or if you can, you're working so hard.
Yeah.
That means
Mega rich.
Yeah, exactly. That means no house parties. Even for young people. Right?
That makes me sad.
Totally. And that totally changes the social landscape. Because Vancouver, if you're going to hang out with friends, you're going to a pub and it's going to be crowded. So you can only really get 4 to 6 people around the table. So that's how you hang out. And then here it's more like, woo!
Like anywhere could be a party.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's which is great. So like I think that contributes to the friendliness generally.
Why it's perceived as more friendly.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But the infrastructure. That's
Sorry,
okay.
I can see where I peaked.
That's okay.
It was like a band of red like this. That was a big woo.
I call that a fun band.
I'm proud of me.
I love that. I love having those moments where you're like, yeah, I just did something so me and I don't give a shit.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. So, okay, so BC. So, and have you been back since you moved?
No.
Really? Okay, yeah. It's so pricey to go out there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably go within the next year. My family came and visited here, which was really nice.
Oh, awesome.
But I will say, my mom grew up in Antigonish.
That's where I'm from.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She's a Beaton.
Okay. We'll talk off mic. We'll talk names off mic. I don't want to potentially name anyone, or we can bleep it. Where in Antigonish did she hail from? Do you know?
Beaver Meadow.
Okay. Interesting. It's not ringing a bell, but
it's like kind of farm country around.
Yeah, because I grew up like 10 minutes outside the town.
Yeah.
Which in Antigonish wasn't even really considered country, but I wasn't a townie either. I was just kind of an in-betweener. Country in Antigonish is like you're a half hour away from the main town.
Right.
Like a half hour drive.
Yeah. And also my dad from Newfoundland.
Oh, okay. So you have roots here.
I do have roots here.
You're pretty much a maritimer, I think, if you got the roots. There's that maritime attitude. It's all about being born here. Fuck.
There's a little bit of that, and that's fine. But it is a thing.
But it is interesting, like what you were saying about how, like the infrastructure and how, yeah, that's fascinating. Because even here, I'm like, I don't know if I could buy a house.
Yeah.
It still seems pricey to me. But then I think compared to Toronto, compared to Vancouver, like it's good.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
We went to to the bank in Vancouver. We're thinking of moving here. And we said, we think we could maybe buy in Halifax. And the bank agent there was like, I don't usually deal with these numbers, because he's used to $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million.
Really?
He had to pull out like a pad of paper and start like, and you make how much? Okay. And you, okay. And how much is a house there? And he's like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You can do it. Yeah.
Maybe. He wasn't even sure, but it was like,
wow.
It was really funny.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's madness. So you grew up there. When did comedy come into the picture for you?
I forget exact dates. It would have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it actually started because a good friend of mine took a comedy class.
I hear about this a lot. This comes up a lot on the show.
Yeah. Like a workshop.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And it was offered by Instant Theater, which is an improv company in Vancouver. And it was run by a guy named Adam Pateman, who's, headliner. He was on Comics back in the day. And it was four 2-hour workshops followed by a show.
A show each time?
No, the fourth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like a showcase at the end.
Showcase at the end.
Cool.
Yeah. It was like $100.
Wow. That's really cheap.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, like there were, 12 people in the class and, 12 people, $100, 1,200. And that's 4 2-hour sessions plus one show, which they charge ticket prices for. So he made pretty good money.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure the venues and the I'm sure it was split up, but moneymaker.
Moneymaker.
Yeah. But anyway, my friend took it and I was like, I can't believe how jealous I am. It was shocking. Like, oh, that sounds I should do that. So I did. And it got me to an open mic. I did an open mic before I did that showcase, which was marginal. And I don't know.
What was the energy like doing your first show? Were you nervous?
The most.
Yeah.
The cone of silence.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't see, I couldn't hear anyone. It was like it was a black room. I don't remember. I couldn't see a single face.
Right.
And I had no idea what I was doing. But I'd written jokes.
Yeah.
So I just said them.
Good. Did you brought notes up?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I always wonder about that.
I have a good memory.
I also wonder, like, if I were to do it, like, would I need notes? Because, like, I feel like I would blank on certain things and probably need, like, a
It could help.
reference.
I pretty much blanked, except, like, I knew the words. So it was just like, have you guys ever noticed that? Yeah, it wasn't that. But
yeah.
And like through the darkness, I did catch a couple like,
little chuckles, which is, I mean, for your first show, like that's what you want.
Yeah. Something, anything.
Little, just even a smile.
Yeah. And I was like, this is the best feeling I've ever experienced.
That's what like literally everyone tells me. Like everyone tells me that the feeling you get is like doing a drug.
Yeah. I will say, like, I know if I've had a good or bad set the next morning before I'm even conscious. Like, my eyes open, and if I'm feeling great, like, I had a good set last night.
Really?
Yeah.
You feel it right away.
Yeah. And if I had a bad set...
Do you replay the bad parts of shows in your head?
I will literally replay them on my recordings to be like, okay, what happened here? Yeah, it was great.
I would be so nervous listening back to bad sets.
You know what helps is I have a friend, again, Just Know Her, who I mentioned earlier. We send each other our sets.
That's a good idea.
And there's something about sending it to someone that makes you more curious about listening to it.
Well, because it's not you. I think that there's so much bias in yourself and how you hear yourself.
Yeah.
Versus like how someone else hears it and perceives it.
Yeah.
You know, like, because you can think it's great, but like you're you.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And I think the more you do it, the more you realize like it's not like my set isn't me. You know what? It's coming from me and I've worked on it.
Right.
But I'm no longer thinking like they did or did not like me. It was like there was a performance aspect. There was whether or not I fucked something up or whatever. Like,
right.
You start to see the building blocks more. So you know, okay, I see why that happened. And it's not like I don't feel attacked that they didn't laugh.
Well, that's really, really good. Because I think that that's something that some people definitely have in comedy.
Oh, sure.
Taking it personally.
Yeah.
Or like seeing it as an attack on them. And maybe it's those, like, I mean, like your comedy does, you do talk about your life.
Yeah.
But it's not too personal to the extent of like.
Yeah. I heard an interview with Laurie Kilmartin, who was a writer for Roseanne and then lots of stuff, and a great comic in her own right. She has a quote that I love, which is she likes to start from the truth and get to lies as quickly as possible.
Oh, interesting.
And that speaks to me because I want to start from some place that I feel real about.
Yeah.
And then move it to some place where it's just play.
It's ridiculousness.
Yeah. We're having fun.
Absolutely. And I think that that's something like that whole concept is fairly new to me because I think when I used to hear stand-up comedy, I always just saw it as total truth. And I'm like, oh no, wait a second here.
No, not at all.
Yeah, wait a second. A lot is put in there literally for the comedy, like for the making it funny.
Well, and to control like the audience's experience a little bit.
Yeah.
Like even if people are being honest, they're directing.
Right.
Right? So
very true.
That's one thing I wish. I don't want to like talk to first timers or early timers.
Talk to them.
No, I do. Like I talk to them, but I don't want to be like, hey, consider this.
Yeah.
I just want to say like, hey man, nice to have you here. It's great.
Right.
Be welcoming, but not be like, hey, have you considered?
So that's an interesting thing because I've talked about this with a couple comic friends. The idea of feedback and when it's appropriate to give feedback and when it isn't and how you give that feedback. Because I think so much of being a first-time comedian is getting comfortable on stage, getting a stage presence, gaining your confidence.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, you have the confidence where you could start talking to people above you that you could start having those harder conversations. Because I can't imagine it's easy to have a conversation where you're like, these jokes that you've been doing aren't working.
Yeah.
That's hard to hear. That I can imagine that would be hard to hear.
I think so. Well, and you wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say it in that way.
What you would say is, and it's not even you'd say this isn't working. You'd say this thing that is working, I feel like if you did this, it would work better.
That's a great way to say it.
Yeah. And in most cases, that's totally what it is. Because you see what someone's doing and you're like, I love it. It occurred to me, though, have you tried this?
Right.
And like, if, maybe they'll hear it and they'll be like, oh, that's awesome, I'm using that, or they don't at all, and that's fine too.
Exactly.
But yeah, it does need to, you need to have a level of trust.
A level of trust. And I think it's also to the timing thing, because I know that asking for, like, as a new comic, it could be intimidating to ask for feedback from somebody.
Right.
That's intimidating. Then it's also tricky being someone who's maybe watching someone and you're like, oh, I really appreciate this person, but like, I have some tips for them. How do I just go up to them and say, I have tips for you? Like, it almost needs to come up in a natural conversational way.
Yeah.
And I think that those are like the back of the room conversations that I've been privy to, because I've just kind of sat there and listened. Yeah. But I've heard, comics talking about, oh, fuck, like, just didn't quite get the, like, they're talking about their material, and then someone will hop in and say, oh, well, did you think about this? Like, there's times and places.
Yeah.
And that's a great time to do it.
And I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But with a lot of, like, first timers, I think a lot of people, they watch the pros, right? And they're like, oh, so it's just telling stories, or it's just talking about yourself. It's like, no, it's not. Don't do those things.
I know someone who's going to appreciate what you just said there just then. Big time.
Okay. Well, that's...
Andrew Vaughn has said similar things.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Just how it does come back to set a punchline and jokes, the structure of a joke. Not just a story. Yeah, absolutely.
I've tried telling stories on stage and died.
Yeah.
Died. And like, you realize if there's not the craft along the way.
Right.
To carry people along. And I think it's one thing, if you're telling a compelling story, sometimes silence isn't a bad thing. Like, if people are emotionally invested for a minute or two and they're not laughing, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it needs to be built in such a way that people give a shit.
Absolutely.
And most stories that people are telling when they just get up and they're like, the funniest thing happened the other day. My friend... And they suck.
When you were saying that, I instantly thought of Travis, because when he tells a story, Travis Lindsay, like when he tells a story, there are chunks of silence, and then there'll be a little bit of a laugh, and then chunk of silence, a little bit of a laugh, and then it just builds, and it's like a little more silence, bigger laugh, bigger laugh, bigger laugh, huge laugh. The way that he's so good at that. Yeah. Shout out Travis. He's such a good storyteller, comic. Yeah, it is fascinating, but getting that skill, I mean, like, he's been doing it so long. Yeah, it's taking him a long time to develop those skills. So
yeah.
Whew, it's a fucking grind, man.
Yeah, it is. It is and it isn't, in the sense that it's fun. It's miserable.
I love that.
But it's also fun.
I think the miserable, and then correct me if I'm wrong, because
some people like miserable.
I was gonna say, like, is it more of the business side of comedy that's more the miserable side?
Oh no, yes.
Like the technicalities, the logistics.
The making a career in Canada is such a hopeless endeavor.
I know.
Not even that going to open mics every week is miserable.
It is.
It's awful because you're watching jokes not work all the time.
Right.
And you're waiting. And again, Halifax has this advantage. It's a smaller scene. And I just realized I should look at the camera more often.
Did you like what you saw? Actually, I hardly ever look at it.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we're having a good conversation. That's great.
That means that we're not like, oh, how beautiful are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sign of good combo.
I'll save that for at home.
They say you could fall in love with somebody if you look them in the eye for 3 straight minutes.
Oh, I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 or 3 or something like that.
Well, I just got so distracted looking at myself.
Just stare at yourself for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's a good idea for self-love. Just stare at yourself like in the eye for a certain amount of time.
But 3 minutes, any more than that, and you'll start,
Well, I realized that it's such an intimidation thing because when Scott McLean was approaching me at the party, he kept doing the "look me in the eye, Sarah, look me in the eye, and tell me that you're great." Like, and he was getting so close to me, and I was like, "This is uncomfortable. This is out of my comfort zone."
Yeah.
Fucking Scott! I can't wait for his episode. We're gonna get so into it.
I haven't talked that much with Scott. He's a character. That is for goddamn sure.
That's a great way to say it.
He's a great comic, great joke writer.
Interesting person. As we drink.
But he definitely seems like a guy who's into the concept of tough love.
Yes. And I actually am really excited for him to come back on because what I found to be very fascinating is seeing his interaction with his new girlfriend. I guess she's not that new.
Right.
But it was interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it was very much so like, and sorry, Scott, if you hear this and you want me to save it for your episode, I want to talk about it fucking now. But he was very much so like, I don't deserve this. Look at how beautiful she is. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. And both me and her were going, stop. She likes you. Stop. Like,
yeah.
This weird like pedestal mentality.
Again, I feel weird. I don't know him that well, but I have him on Facebook. He was doing like exercise and diet.
Yeah.
And he kept posting things like, I'm getting up and exercising and eating well because I'm a fat piece of shit. And if I'm such a fat piece of shit, you can get up and do it too.
Yeah.
And I was like, that works for you. And that's great. That tone does not work for me one little bit.
Interesting.
The drill sergeant thing,
yeah.
I hate it. Like, I'm just like, fuck this.
I actually, I totally agree.
And, nothing on it. I think I respect the shit out of his comedy.
He broke me at the party. Like, I start crying. Like, he broke me.
And, like, but I think that's valid. Like, I think that works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But when someone hits me with that stuff, I'm just like, okay, thank you very much for your interest in my life. I don't know what to do with this. I'm gonna go now. But
yeah.
I hope you have a lovely evening.
Well, it's weird because ever since that night, I've started projecting that same tone.
All right.
I've found myself projecting it and then going, who the fuck am I?
Huh.
But I think what it comes from actually is just like this is a supercharged time in my life where like there's a lot of projects coming up, a lot of things happening, just a lot of changes. And I've just started realizing I'm going to refuse to be unhappy going forward.
Yeah.
Because I've been finding like every reason to be sad for so long.
Yeah.
And I had this like really clear moment of like, hey, Sarah, it's just you in this life. You're probably going to want to be happy at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
You're 32. Like if you were 24, like you got some time, but like you 32, you got to get your shit together. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. It might have been Scott that did it. And then I started talking to friends about it.
Yeah.
And like I was projecting this kind of Tony Robbins-esque, like, if you want to do something, just do it. Just fucking. And I was just like, Sarah, who are you? But I'm less aggressive. I'm more like positive. Like,
yeah. For me, it was I had to get over the doubts that I've always had that prevented me from doing the things I wanted to do because I didn't know that I had the right to do them.
Ooh.
Right?
Is that like kind of imposter syndrome-y, sort of?
It's along those lines. It was definitely like, like putting on something fancy to wear. Like, why? Oh, who am I? Who do I think I am?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And I realized at some point that is not helpful for me.
God,
the
no.
fear of being that guy
Yeah.
kept me from doing anything I really wanted to do. So
interesting.
What was more helpful for me was to start extending, again, coming from being a serious young man who's like, well, if it's not real art, then what are you really fucking doing?
I have a friend, by the way, who's still a serious young man.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
But what I had to do was start extending the forgiveness I needed to other people. So
Yes.
Same thing, like pop music. Let's tie that back in.
Yeah.
I had to start realizing, like, no, those girls who I, as a 20-year-old, found annoying.
You would probably find me annoying. 20-year-old Kyle?
Yeah. 20-year-old Sarah.
May have found me annoying.
Probably pretty likely.
Yeah.
And that guy sucked, so don't worry about it. But I realized I had to start saying, no, they're having fun, that's fine. And there's probably something, there's a good thing to what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I had to start realizing that so that eventually I could reflect on what I was into and be like, it's fine. You're fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's hard to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, that's a gradual, and I had a thought and it went away. It's fucking whiskey. Literally, as you were saying that. Oh yeah. Okay. So you were saying, you had to forgive other people.
I would say I was so afraid too of being pretentious.
Yeah.
For like liking, poetry or something dumb like that, right?
Right.
Like, I just don't want people to think like I think I'm being better than them. That I would like restrict myself from actually liking the things that I like.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right?
You were maybe too concerned about what people thought.
Yeah. And I realized, okay, I just need to not worry about that and just like what I like.
Oh, yeah.
And let other people like what they like.
And when you truly get rid of that, it feels so good. Like, I've just started asking myself all the time, is this serving you right?
Yeah.
Like, when I feel an emotion, like whether that be anger, sadness, resentment, like I literally go, is this serving you right now?
Yep.
What is this doing to move you forward? Oh, it's not doing anything? Stop. Just stop.
Right.
And that thought control, I didn't always have that.
Sure.
It's so easy for me to get mad and angry and resentful and like the anger especially is a hard one because it comes out in tricky ways.
Sure.
You can push it down and then it will come out in like little snide remarks or it'll come out like in drunken arguments or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we say, oh, we were drunk, we didn't mean it. We meant it.
Yeah. On some
It
level.
was just the excuse that the drinking brought it out or
or maybe and I think that's the other exercise is I'm having this response that I don't like. What is it serving?
What's this doing to myself and others?
I would say like clearly you want it on some level.
Yeah.
What want is that coming from?
Exactly.
Right? Like and like a lot of people, like if you're being judgmental of everyone around you, serious young man syndrome.
Serious young man.
It's because you want to feel like you're doing something right.
Yeah. Like
you want to feel like the things that you're into are in a way like morally correct. You know? And that's useless.
Useless. Yeah. Let people have fun.
Yeah.
Like, so I then assume based on this, you're probably not someone who gets into Facebook comment wars.
I have a rule. Cause I think comment wars are useless. I think, but I think sometimes you have to try to change someone's mind. You know?
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
So I have a rule, which is when it's someone who I feel like I can kind of influence, like family, I will try to make 1 point.
Right.
So I won't try to win.
Right.
But I'll try to say, have you considered this thing?
Right. Not like bullet points. Have you considered this, and this, like a whole running list?
Just
1 point.
One thing that I think might make a difference to how they're thinking about it. And then I will unfollow that conversation and walk away. Because
oh, that's a good idea. The second step in particular, the unfollow, like you post it and then you're done.
Their arguing always comes across as bullying online.
Everyone takes things personal.
Everyone takes things personal. And even if you're right, if you spend 600 words convincing someone you're right, all they're feeling is this person is attacking me.
Yeah.
And,
it's such a common thing.
And then their back goes up and they don't learn a thing because they're just like, that person sucks and I don't like them. And anything they're saying is just to hurt me.
Yeah.
You know? So that's my rule. 1 point, walk away.
And I think there's such a difference between conversation and arguing. Like, I feel like a lot of times with, I think, certain relationships or friendships in my life, I will want to start like a deeper conversation, and it is seen as me trying to start an argument. And I'm like, no, like I'm actually really interested in this shit. I want to talk it out and I want to hear your side. Like doing this fucking podcast,
sure,
and getting deep, like we're getting deep right now,
sure,
has actually ruined me for certain friendships because I'm more critical, and then I approach that like criticalness with like honesty and questions, and then I'm seen as starting drama, starting a fight, starting an argument, starting conflict,
sure,
and it's like, well, fuck, like I have so many new people that I've met that like we're each other's therapy. Like it's just a therapy session. Like we're just talking out our life and evolving as people. And it's like, oh, well, fuck. Like if you just want to have service level convo, like, I don't know if I can do that anymore.
Sure. I like surface level convo.
I mean, and every now and then it's great.
Yeah.
But like, I love getting deep.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's actually like ruined me for certain, cause I think I've looked at myself so critically that I look at other people more critically now.
Okay.
In other words, like, oh, they just did that thing that I didn't like, but here's probably why they did it.
Yeah.
Because therapy stuff, childhood, trauma, blah, blah.
My thing is I want to be friends with everybody, but I'll keep a distance with most folks. Until it makes sense to close that distance.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Because that's also a self-defense mechanism too.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to be besties with everybody to have friendly relationships,
Fuck no. And I mean, what is a bestie? What's the definition?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I've always considered it more of a tier than a person.
That's funny. I think I have a definition. That's my definition. A bestie is the person who you can be with, who you are most at ease being yourself with.
That shit, yeah.
Nice. Oh, I forgot about the bell.
You can take it whenever you want. No, that's really, really good. And when you can't, like, because I think a lot of, especially women, this is what it always comes down to, bridesmaids. Okay.
Sure.
It will always come down to this because
mind if I
go nuts?
This is exciting.
So when you're picking bridesmaids, and I've had friends that have been like, you're not in my wedding, but you're my secret bridesmaid. Like you were supposed to be here, but because I've known these other women, it goes off of years of knowing.
That's a real thing for sure.
And so a lot of people see best friends as that. I don't necessarily see it that way.
Yeah.
Because there's people I've known a long, long time that like, I don't feel comfortable being my full self around.
Definitely.
So that, by your definition, does not make them my bestie.
Yeah. I think, there's something to history
Yeah, length of relationship.
Yeah, and it is funny, like when you hang out with someone who you have that history with, the way you fall into certain patterns can be really great or awful, depending.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have a few old friends who, when I see them, feels great, and then I have a few who are like, okay, you remember a part of me that I don't like that much.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
They kind of stay in the past.
Yeah.
Sort of like,
you know, some old friends of mine, they stay in the past, and some I'm like, you know too much.
yeah.
You know the me that I don't love.
Yeah.
And that's not on them.
But also too, I think a real true best friend would know those parts of you, but also accept that
And
you've
get it.
changed.
That's true. Yeah.
Or that you are making an effort to change.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, because like I get that too. Like there's so many things about me that people put on me, and I'm like, no, I've changed. Like, relax. You don't always know me, even though I'm an open person.
Totally. I talked with someone recently who is still best friends with her grade school besties, like elementary school.
Yep, I have one that I've known since
Wow.
grade 2.
Wow. And I realized if I went back to my hometown and someone recognized me, I would be so insulted.
Really?
Because I've taken pains
Yeah.
to look different. You don't grow a beard because you like the way you look.
Right.
Right? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like if someone's like, oh my God, you're Kyle Carpenter, then I'm like, I'm doing something right.
There you go.
But if someone was just like on the street, like from grade school, like Kyle, and like we're not tight with me or grew with me, I'd be like, I don't like this.
Right. Because
I don't
they're
like this one bit.
pinpointed to like a part of your life that
Yeah,
you didn't like.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's not on them. That is all coming from inside the house.
Inside the house. Oh yeah. Well, I get panicky when I see people from like high school, like let's say like a grocery store situation, like where you see someone and you have that moment of, okay, they haven't seen me yet. I could make eye contact and start a conversation, or I could not. And it's very telling what you do in those moments.
That's true.
You know, like whether or not you take that leap of like, okay, so now we have to get into the basics. Are we married? Is there kids? What are we doing for work? Like it's those 3 things.
Yeah. How much work is it to figure that out?
Yeah. I often say like it's almost like you have to come up with like a mission statement for yourself that you like a Sparks Notes version like of what you like can just say really quickly that will sum everything up.
Welcome to my TED Talk on how great I'm doing.
That I've curated
Yeah.
specifically for you so that I don't feel lesser than based on where you're at in life.
Look. Yeah,
Because I'm working on it and I'm getting better, but I can't help, and I don't know if you've had this being in your 30s either, but like I can't help but sometimes feel like life is passing me by and that I'm not at where I need to be. And I have to constantly remind myself that we're all on different journeys and paths, and life's going to be drastically different for everybody. And that Nicholas Sparks version of what I thought my life would be, it ain't happening. It's not gonna happen. That's not my life.
I will say this. My favorite people have all failed at something.
Absolutely.
Like, success is boring. It's just
is
dull.
There's nothing to relate to in it.
Yeah. Oh my God. This will be the most pretentious thing I say.
Say it.
All night. David Foster Wallace once said.
Who's David Foster Wallace?
He's the guy who wrote that book, Infinite Jest. It's this fucking thick.
Oh, okay.
I'll go to... And the most obnoxious dudes you've ever met.
Okay.
Love that book.
Okay. The Infinite Jest?
Infinite Jest.
Infinite Jest.
Yeah. If you know a dude who had a wispy beard...
Tinder?
Things are working out for you. If you knew a dude with like a wispy beard and like a scarf, he fucking loved David Foster Wallace.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
But he's still a good writer.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he's loved by shitty, annoying people.
Right. Like the most pretentious hipstery people.
Totally. But he once said he played tennis at an almost professional level. And he read the autobiography of a tennis star that he really admired, a woman, I forget who. And he said it was the worst book he's ever read because there's nothing interesting about what it takes to be an athlete or a star athlete, because it's all like, I focused on the game, I went out there, and I won.
I didn't even know, and I just filled it in for you because it was so cliche. Wow.
Because that's not
interesting at all.
There's no narrative.
Yeah. I've been known to say on the show a number of times that I don't trust people who haven't struggled, and that phrase is often taken the wrong way. Really, what I mean by that is, like, I don't know if I can confide in someone who hasn't struggled in some way. Like, my favorite people are the people who have overcome struggles or are still struggling.
Yes.
And are finding a way to manage it, because I think we all are.
Yeah.
And people who just have a very linear, and mind you, I also understand that not everybody showcases their struggles, and a lot.
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge that, because I'm very open about my life, but not everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, I might see someone who I think has a linear progression, and maybe they're dealing with 1,000 different fucking things in their life that,
for sure,
but growing up as a woman, it's very much so put on you, get married, have kids, get a job. Maybe you get a job or maybe don't. Right. And those are the pillars of, have you made it, or, success. That was put on us growing up. That doesn't mean that that's what it is. Your vision, how you see success needs to be personalized.
That's true. Yeah, and grappling with that image means something. It means you had to step away.
Yeah.
And that's way more interesting.
Way more interesting. For me, it just had to be certain things aren't going to happen. You got to be happy in another way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's great.
You just got to figure out what it is to be happy in this moment. Whether it's today, tomorrow, a week from now, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just a daily thing.
Yeah.
I feel like my life's a shit show. I don't know. How do you, because you do comedy.
Yeah.
You also work, you work from home.
Yeah.
So you are self-motivated.
Yeah.
You aim to be self-motivated.
Yeah.
That must be tough, though.
Yeah, it's a constant battle with the self.
That's what it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
What I found is just weird little rules you have to set for yourself. If I'm not working by 9 a.m., the whole day's fucked. I just know that.
Yeah.
Maybe 10. 10, sometimes I can slip in and lock in. But if I hit 10:30, 11 and I haven't meaningfully started.
Right. Sat down, open the email,
done a significant chunk.
Right.
Then there's a part of me that knows it is time to start cleaning because nothing else is happening today.
God damn. Yeah. And are you a morning person?
No.
So is 9 a.m. the time you set in your head as the time that you should be starting work?
I don't know what it is. It is I've shifted more towards the morning over time. Part of that is being with a morning person.
Oh yeah, that could do it.
So I went from a schedule that was probably 11 to 3, just naturally, that's where I thrived, to more 7:30 to midnight.
Right. Because I think that's a huge thing. I think that because I'm a night person too, and I will naturally sleep until noon most times.
Yeah.
But you're right. Even though I am, and I feel like that's when I would be the most rested, there's something about starting your work so late in the day that sets you up for failure, because you're feeling you have to rush to that 5 p.m. end time.
That's true, because 5 p.m. is fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the majority of people.
Totally. And that's in your head. So you're once you start, you've done 3 hours and 5 o'clock hits. You're oh, well, I'm done, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I can call it a day, right? Yeah. Because I was unemployed for a bit. And I was just fuck, this is hard.
Yeah.
Not having tasks, but like having to work.
It's brutal.
Having to work to get work.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Literally the worst.
I have terrible hustle. For someone who like freelances, I have bad hustle.
Do you really?
Yeah, for sure.
See, because I wouldn't have, I like just knowing what I knew of you, I wouldn't have said that.
A lot of the work that I have that's regular comes from friends, just knowing people who are like in the field, who are like, hey, I have extra stuff. Do you want to take it on? I'm like, yeah, I sure do. Sure do. And that's kind of built into a stable of regular clients.
Right. Because do you find that there's stability in that?
Yes. Having regular clients is good. The problem is it's really possible to kind of be spinning your wheels and not making a ton of money. Like if you have just like a minimum level of work, it's possible to let that become your full day.
Right.
So that's my problem. But having the regular clients is essential.
Key. Yeah.
Yeah, because one-offs, every one-off takes like hours to get.
Yeah.
So like of meetings and talking to them and finding out what they want. And then you do the work and maybe it's just like 6 hours.
Fuck.
And then you've spent 4 hours getting that 6 hours.
Fuck.
And that's the worst.
I'm just like, ever since our talk at the tea room, my mind has been supercharged thinking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Because I've been realizing that I don't think I'm meant to work for anybody. I'm starting to slowly realize that perhaps the better route to go is to start my own situation where I'm just working for myself.
Could be.
But I'm terrified. Like, I'm number one terrified. I don't know what I'm doing. And we had a good talk that night that clarified a lot for me.
Good.
In a good way, but also a way of like, holy shit, I've been fucking myself. In more ways than one. Low-hanging fruit.
That's great.
So, yeah, it is, I think self-employed people, freelancers, like, we need to all be talking to each other.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. That is the thing. Like, there's so much stigma around talking about money and employment.
Yes, this is what I want to bring this up.
And it fucks everybody.
Fucks everybody. Because, like, if you're just kind of going off of a guess of what you think you're worth, like, you're going to fuck yourself. You're probably going to undercharge.
Yep.
And screw yourself over for money. Because we can't all fucking lie and say that money doesn't help. Like, having more money would get me to a so much better spot in life.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not ashamed to say that now.
No, that's for real.
Yeah. Money's good.
That is undeniable.
We like money.
I mean, that's the situation is bad. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
But it is also the situation for the time being.
For the time being.
Yeah.
And I think it's also interesting because, like, would you see yourself as somebody who, like, I don't know. I know a lot of people who are very much so like, I'm a 3-figure guy and this is who I am and this is what I'll always be. And like, I need this
3-figure.
Yeah. Yeah, I know someone who's pretty freaking well off.
Okay, I thought
3-figure
you were going
salary.
the other way.
Oh.
I thought you meant like 3 figures per annum. Like, oof. Ooh, that would be a hard road to hoe.
But like, do you think it takes away from, how do I even phrase this question? Like, having a desire to make a lot of money. Do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to hustle?
I mean, that's such a complex answer.
Yeah, it really is, eh?
Like, we should all be comfortable.
Yes.
I'm going to say that.
That's a great way to say it.
I think there's a kind of unrestrained growth that's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
Like economic growth. I don't like people who just think that, I just need to add zeros and life's good. Like, I think that sucks.
Yeah.
But we should all be respecting our own time and our own worth in relation to what we're asking for from people.
And that's what's so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because if you've spent your whole life just working for other people, you see your worth as like $1 per hour rate, rate, and you don't necessarily see it as all these other things that go into like what you're worth.
And they will actively diminish
Yeah.
that worth for you.
Yeah.
Like just little ways like making sure that your lunch break doesn't go too long, or like, we have a culture here where you show up half an hour before work.
Oh, fuck those places.
Yeah.
Fuck those. So that's another thing. And I'm sure some of them might listen. We're all different. I saw a meme the other day.
Sure.
It was from, again, comedian Jared Freed. I retweet a lot of his tweets a lot. But it was essentially like, I'm going to actually find it because it was so good. And it was like, do you ever see someone who works at I'm just going to paraphrase it. Do you ever see someone who works at a quote unquote cool workplace and they're always posting things like, karaoke Friday. And then you're thinking, we just want to go the fuck home to hang out with our real friends.
Totally.
We want to get out of here as soon as possible so that we can hang out with our outside of work friends.
I joked once, I see all these people saying, we work hard, we play hard. Like that's a good thing. And I'm like, I work soft, I play soft. And I would consider working medium, playing medium for the right position. Right? No part of me wants to play hard. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Because I don't like when companies force culture on you.
Yeah.
Or do things like, we're having a mandatory party after work hours. It's like, go if you want, but like, don't make people feel like they have to.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's a lot of people who are really good at separating, and when I'm in work mode, I'm in work mode, and like my social self is outside of work. That's fine. And you know what? If you want to be friends with coworkers, fucking kudos to you. Sure. It's been a long time since I've been in a work environment where it felt like a team, felt like a family. And so I just haven't had that.
Yeah.
In like a long time. So who knows? Maybe if I did have it, maybe I'd like it too, but I don't want to be forced to play ping pong.
No. Yeah. And I think if the company brings in like a flat of beer or something and pizza at 4 p.m. on Friday, and it's like, let's have some fun and then let's go home. Like, that's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to do it.
And then if people want to self-organize, let's keep the party going. Like, you can do that.
Self-organize. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're all going out for drinks after work. Do you want to come? Oh, shit, I'm busy. Sorry.
Yeah. I gotta walk the dog, or like, I'm so tired. And for like both of those to be legitimate answers that are accepted.
Absolutely.
Like,
it's just so funny to me. And it's also really funny to me that these cool companies are also the same companies that are underpaying their employees.
Oh, for sure.
But they're making them feel good with all these really weird perks. And I'm like, you wanna really fucking motivate me? Pay me more.
Yeah.
See what happens then.
Pay me more and give me adequate support to do my job.
Yeah, adequate support. Yep.
Because that's the big thing. Like, a lot of times, how do we increase workforce engagement? Let's come up with a star award where every week we choose someone who did a really nice thing and we'll put it on the wall. Like, no, how about you give, like, when someone asks interdepartmentally, like, hey, can you give me this information? How about you give that information? Try that on for size.
I can't ding this harder.
See how that feels.
Just based on the week I've had and the things I've dealt with, I can't ding the bell. It's so true.
That's a fun bell.
Do you ever think that you could be a boss and manage people, manage like a physical team?
I could, but it would take a lot of self-work and discipline. And I want to qualify what I mean by discipline.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't place any value now after the life I've lived and the way I realize I work. I don't think discipline is sitting down and just like thinking really hard about the person you want to be and then being that person.
Yeah.
I think it's externalizing every decision you can possibly make.
Right.
So along those lines, I need to work by 9 a.m. I just realized that about myself. It's a thing that I've come to after years of kind of being a procrastinating fuck.
Yeah.
Just know that's the rule and I need to do it. Or using tools or like scheduling apps or anything I can get my hands on that works to take the decisions out of my hands.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I like to do the whole, like if I'm scheduling something or trying to arrange something, I'll say something like, can you do me a favor? Just because I don't want to forget this important thing. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Like I've done it with podcast guests before where it's like, we've scheduled something, but it was in passing. I'm like, can you do me a favor? Can you just message me and let me know? Like, send me a quick message that says, record with Sarah on this date. Kind of,
Yeah.
Like I literally just ask.
Yep.
Because we're at an age, like I'm 32, you're 38. You know yourself in your 30s like way better than you do in your 20s, and you know what you fuck up on.
Right.
And having that self-awareness to know where you fuck up,
Yeah.
you can then ask people to be like, this is how I operate. Like, can you do this?
Sure. Yeah.
Can you do this for me?
Yeah. Or even
I've
just
done that before.
using the apps that get
Yes.
you there too. Whatever.
Remind yourself.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, yeah. I feel like I'm constantly just scared that I'm fucking up all the time.
Oh, sure. Everyone is. Everyone's scared and everyone is fucking up all the time. But, you work through it.
Yeah.
Or you don't. And then you do afterwards because that went so badly.
Yeah. How do you deal with stress? Being stressed out?
Stress? Oh, man. This is going to be a long answer. I think necessarily. I have a strong fuck it response to stress, which is once I'm stressed enough, I let everything slide and play video games, right? Which is not good. So I know like I need to not get to that level, and that means taking steps to counter it. My brother, who is my favorite person, is a lot like me, and he recently, at some point, he realized I'm not doing well enough on my own. I need to go get some help. And
yes, and that's great.
yeah, so he got diagnosed with anxiety in a non-medicated way. They just said, "You got this. You need to deal with it proactively." So just put in routines.
Routines, so key.
Exercise.
It's so important.
It's pretty important.
It's crazy. Every single business owner will say that.
Sure.
Exercise every day or go for a walk every day or something. Get those endorphins.
Anyway, but I talk to him all the time, and I will say like he's put in so much hard self-work, but he tells me about it, and everything he tells me I'm like, "Oh, that is familiar."
Oh yeah.
That is familiar. So I've had like a weird shortcut to self-knowledge by having a brother who like we share a lot of inputs.
Right.
And I love him so much.
Oh,
but,
goddamn.
Yeah, but he's done the work, and he'll sort of tell me like, "Yeah, so I've realized I feel this way, so I've been working on it this way." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Oh shit.
Oh my God. And then I get to go and implement some version of that too.
Right, to make it better for yourself, because you know you're just like him.
Yeah, like not just, but like we share. He always felt things more acutely, and I was always a little more like me.
Yeah.
I always like to say I have more padding, both physically and emotionally.
Emotional padding.
Yeah.
Well, that must be nice. What's that like?
Emotional padding?
I don't have any of that. I assume what that means is you're not someone who, like, if I came at you with something, you wouldn't go emotional. You wouldn't react emotionally right away.
I would leave.
You're avoidant.
No, I would think about it. And if I felt like you were wrong, I'd probably stop talking to you.
Interesting. I like that, though.
Like, and if I felt like you were right, I might work on it. But like, I'll take the time. I think I'm pretty good at being like, if someone comes at me with an accusation, I don't want to deal with that person right away. But I'll I'll absent myself and think about it.
That's fascinating.
Because
Ruminate.
Back to the thing about arguing and comment wars. Nobody changes their mind right away. Nobody does. Everybody needs to leave and think about it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a fault of the online world we're in, where people want instant results.
They want an instant response, comment back.
They want you to apologize and be on their side right now. And that's never going to happen. Never. The best you can hope for is a week later, they're thinking about it and they're like, I was an asshole. And they change their life going forward and you never see it.
Right. Would you like to see it though? Like, because when you mentioned like the posting of the comment and then not following it, does a part of you want to see it? You don't? Okay. That's interesting.
No, for sure. Huh. Like if that's someone who keeps coming up in my life, maybe.
Right.
But I don't need someone to repent in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. Like everybody's dealing with their own shit. I just want to be able to say, have you thought about this?
Have you thought about it this way?
And then not demand that they change because that means they will never.
Just to consider something.
Yeah. Just
consider it.
Put this in your library and maybe a week later, maybe a month later, it'll mean something to you.
God damn, it's so true. We're too obsessed with the instant gratification.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
And even teaching 18-year-olds, their brains aren't fully developed yet. And they're not going to get everything you give them.
No.
But I remember like my teachers, I didn't get stuff that they told me when I was that age. But 3 years later, maybe I thought about it. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that makes sense now.
Right.
You know, plant seeds.
I love it when that happens.
Totally. It's the best.
And then if you want to send a message to be like, hey, that thing you said like a while back, I'm just letting you know, like it hit me now, that kind of thing. Like,
yeah, I've never done that.
Never. But would you like to hear that?
It would, if it happened, it would be nice.
It would be nice, yeah.
But
you don't need
I don't expect it.
Interesting.
No way.
You're a fascinating person.
Oh, thank you.
Like it's interesting how you operate.
I just want to.
I like it though.
I want to give people space.
I want to incorporate more of that into my life because I feel like it's easier, or it makes things easier on yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
And it helps you not care what people think.
Well, yeah, and I want to. Again, I was a pretty judgy young dude.
Serious young man.
And it didn't serve me at all.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've just been detangling that for the last 2 decades, basically.
Goddamn, 2 decades. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck and Christ. I love the whiskey episodes because they get so deep and I enjoy it quite a bit. And this was a lot of fun. I have one more thing for us to do.
Oh yeah, the surprise.
This is the surprise thing. So I'm gonna actually play this on the speakers. So I'm gonna capture the audio. Do you know of the app Cameo?
No.
So Cameo is a video platform.
Okay.
That celebrities use to make some money. So you can pay a certain amount of money to get a video clip from a famous, it's mostly like
beats here.
Yeah, you got it. And to like record a message. So it can be like a happy birthday greeting or like anything. And there's some interesting people on the Cameo website.
It's like Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin. And it's fascinating. So you can scroll through and like see the different celebrities and like what they charge.
Whoa.
And like Kathy Griffin charges, I think, $500 for hers.
That makes sense.
For like a short little video.
Sure.
Like, and it might even be more than that actually. So it's really interesting. So what happened recently was someone paid friggin'
holy crap.
Pat McGrath. Is it? Yeah. Mark McGrath, yeah. To break up with somebody via Cameo.
Oh no.
So this is too good for me not to play. So I'm gonna play it right now.
Please do.
It is Mark McGrath from the band Sugar Ray, off the charts, but always in your hearts. And this cameo was booked by Cheyenne, and she wants you to know a few things. And this is difficult for you to say.
Of course it was booked by Cheyenne.
But she wants you to know that you mean a lot to her. You mean the world to her.
Oh,
but she's
no.
having difficulty staying in this long-distance relationship. You know, it's tough. I've been on the road for years, and I've been with my wife a long time, and the biggest arguments, the biggest, obstacles in our relationships is the distance between us. It makes it very difficult when we're on the road, and it's hard. So Cheyenne is
Don't philosophize about this, Mark McGrath.
tough for her to stay in this relationship. She still cares about you a lot. You never know what the future may hold, and she still wants to be friends with you because obviously she cares about you. It is Mark McGrath from the band.
Okay, there's more.
Sugar
Wait.
Ray.
This is the second part.
This is a lot.
Very much. And she wants you to know good luck on your thesis coming up.
Oh, that's
Probably not
nice.
the best timing, Cheyenne. He's doing his thesis, but I understand. You got to work on your thesis, and life goes on. And I'm sure there's big things ahead of you in the future, Braden. But Cheyenne cares about you enough to let you know that she's thinking about you. But the long distance thing is just a little difficult for her. And she wants you to stay positive. She wants you to be friends. And she knows that you're a fan of the band Sugar Ray, which I'm honored. I wish I was delivering you good news. Hopefully
That,
I can see you backstage, give you a high five someday, dude. And we can maybe laugh about this sometimes. Hopefully we all can. Cheyenne, Braden, all of us. We all can hang out. But she wants to be friends right now, bro. The long distance thing's a little
Bro.
but she wishes you nothing but the best. All the love in the
Still
world.
going.
And do your best on that thesis, man.
That's it.
Oh my God. My heart.
He's a fan of Sugar Ray.
Yeah,
And
that's
she hired them to break up with. I'm just blown away. Can you imagine? You're speechless. You were just like, I have no idea.
I'm just if I received that message from Mark McGrath, I'd be like, you know what? This is on me. Clearly. Clearly, I had a fantasy about who Cheyenne was. That is not. This is for the best. This is for the best.
And his name is Braden.
That is a serious young man name, if ever there was one. Braden.
I picture
God.
frosted tips on that guy.
I will say this about Mark McGrath. He would be on Celebrity Rock and Roll Jeopardy. Do you remember? That was a VH1 joint.
Oh, okay.
It was on Much More Music here in
Really?
Canada.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, now it's coming back. Yeah.
And he cleaned up on Celebrity Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
Did he really?
Every time.
He was also on Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay.
Yeah, recently. Yeah. He actually got pretty far.
Sure.
Yeah. But my question for you is,
Okay.
so
I'm worried now.
your girlfriend's going to break up with you. This is the situation. There's no way around it. Who would be the best celebrity that she could hire to do this via Cameo, and the worst?
Okay. All right. Until recently, the best would have been Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, that would be so good.
But I feel like there's Twitter talk that stuff's going to come out.
Oh no, shut up.
I don't mean to ruin him for anybody, but
I mean, I'm not shocked, but also
he's got that kind of like weird Nosferatu vibe. Like you can see
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Seems handsy.
He does seem handsy.
So until recently, that would have been it. I'm going to say the dude from the B-52s.
The lead singer?
Yeah.
That would be the best?
Yeah.
So that would be one that if you would be sad that the breakup's happening, but if you got this message, you would be like, taps off.
Yeah.
Hats off.
Yeah, if he was like, Kyle, Megan wants to break up with you, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
If you did it in song, it would be even better.
Yeah, I just think that's how he talks.
Yeah.
And the worst, Ashton Kutcher.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but like, I think the associations with punked would make me feel bad.
And he would probably say something in the message that would be like, "You ain't
Hey.
punked, bro.
Hey,
You're
yeah.
getting dumped."
I think, yeah, any breakup message that features bro is a bad breakup message. I'm going to say that.
It's very bad.
I might change my best answer to Kate Bush. Is that okay?
Kate Bush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is.
British new wave.
It's familiar.
She, yeah.
Kate Bush. I'm just going to
It'd be pretty good.
You would be happy with that one?
I think so.
God, it's just so ridiculous. I guess in like the history of Cameo, this has never happened.
Oh, the breakup message.
Yeah.
So
Like-
Cheyenne breaking new grounds. Cheyenne is an innovator.
Cheyenne and
Braden. Yeah.
Dear God.
You know, it's funny. They, for a couple that weren't meant to be together, they really did something very special.
They did. I'm trying to pull in like a Sugar Ray reference here.
Cheyenne just wants to fly.
Well, because the actual caption. So Jilly Hendrix posted this, and I don't know if Jilly Hendrix is I don't think she's a comedian, but she's friends with a lot of comics. But I loved her caption of this because it was like, trigger warning, someone paid Mark McGrath via the celeb video app Cameo to break up with her boyfriend over video message. Imagine waking up to a video message from Sugar Ray that says, Cheyenne is having a hard time being in this relationship with you. And then she says, first off, this dude receiving the video's name is Bryden. Second, his favorite band is Sugar Ray. Third, Mark didn't sing When It's Over.
Yeah. Oh, I want to revise my worst answer.
Ooh.
Smash Mouth.
They would be in. I can see Smash Mouth doing this.
Oh my God.
The thing is I wonder if she paid him more to do this type of message.
Smash Mouth or Guy Fieri, who I'm not convinced are different people.
Oh my God. So true. Holy shit, they're very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It's just insane.
Conspiracy theory.
That's just
Fuck
so funny.
this Epstein didn't kill himself. Guy Fieri and Smash Mouth are the same person.
They were never in the same room together, I bet. So
I'm sure that's true.
I think this theory holds up.
Yeah.
We're over time, so we're going to end this fucking podcast.
Hey, thank you.
This was so fun.
I had a blast and drank some scotch, which was great.
This was great. Kyle, do you have anything you want to plug? Any like show dates coming up or anything that the listeners can stay up to date with you?
Show dates. Follow me on Twitter at KCarCFH.
Oh, yeah, on the Twitter nets.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Because you're not on Instagram, are you?
I'm not.
I've tried to find you on there.
I'm not a visual guy.
Interesting, but okay, so definitely
I'm a word guy.
Twitter. Okay,
Yeah,
what was
Twitter.
your Twitter handle again?
At KCar, KCAR, CFH.
Awesome.
And there's a reason for that. The CFH.
Can you say what the reason is?
I run a website called Clients from Hell.
Perfect.
So that's that. And, add me on Facebook. And if we have some mutuals, I'll add you. Like I'm easy.
Absolutely. Vetting process is necessary sometimes.
A little bit. But
I'm so stoked to have you on. This was great.
This was fun.
This was a great conversation. I think you're so funny and doing
thank
great
you.
things. And excited to see you going forward with stand-up.
Thanks, yeah.
And all of that.
I will say Halifax comedy is great.
Yeah.
The talent base and the experimentation that happens here is so awesome.
That's great to hear coming from somebody who has lived in another scene on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
You know?
We should have gotten into that more, but
I know
hey, another time.
It was actually on my list, but listen, I have repeat guests all the time. I've also thought about doing like collab episodes with other people. So like even get you and Chris Halef on and we can talk about that. Like this is the tip of the iceberg. This is just your Sparks Notes version episode.
I will say
there's
Chris,
more to come.
Chris is a guy I feel like after set I could go up to him and say, hey, good set. Have you considered? And likewise, if he came up to me, I'd be like, oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
Good tips.
And he loves getting feedback.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves that.
Good dude.
Good dude. Good Chris Halef. Happy birthday, Chris Halef, if you're hearing this.
Oh yeah, the birthday boy. I forgot to get him a card.
His present is this episode with you.
There we go.
That's your present, Chris.
Yeah.
But Kyle, thank Thanks so much. You get to actually end it with a bell ring.
This is so good. Thank you.
And you can do what you want. Free ball. Oh, some people do multiples. That was good though.
Yeah.
One is strong and solid.
Definitive.